If your creative push has helped you, you can help out the show by shopping on Amazon.com. All you have to do is head to yourcreativepush.com/Amazon. That will take you right there and you can shop how you normally would. A small percentage of your purchases will go directly to helping cover the costs of creating, hosting, and maintaining your creative push. And you can make a big difference just by buying the things that you're going to anyway. Again, that's yourcreativepush.com/Amazon, and thank you for thinking of the show and for helping out. Your Creative Push, episode 197.
Just keep doing what you do and keep doing what you love to do.
Find what you love, put effort into it, and be proud of what you put out.
Welcome to Your Creative Push, the podcast that pushes you to pursue your creative passions. I'm your host, Youngman Brown, and my guests today are Andrew and Seth McMurray, aka Nukazooka. Seth and Andrew have been producing high-quality action shorts since 2011. Their polished films, riddled with special effects, bring to life both current and nostalgic characters and worlds, like Super Mario Bros., Pokemon, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Darth Vader, Buzz Lightyear, Minecraft, and Legos, just to name a few. To date, they have well over 1 million subscribers and have had over 350 million views on YouTube. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Hey.
Absolutely. Good to have you. Before we get into kind of the success that you guys had, which is tremendous, I was hoping you could maybe give us kind of a brief background with your kind of creative history and kind of what led you to starting this channel.
Sure. Yeah. Man, it was so long ago, but I started YouTube. I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. So when YouTube started coming around, started becoming a thing, I was just like, okay, so YouTube can kind of be an outlet for me. It was something more that I wanted to upload things that I was doing so that I could have links to send to people, just to, get the work out there and figure out how to, get the word out. But like the problem with YouTube, there's just so many people on YouTube. So I wanted to figure out how I could sort of separate myself. So that's why I started learning how to do visual effects. So I would start off on YouTube uploading little VFX tests. Stupid little videos. And they're still on there. I hope people don't watch them, but they're still I like to have them on there so people can go back and see where I started, I guess. So I started doing that, and surprisingly, people were really interested in that kind of thing, visually appealing videos. And I started to think, okay, maybe I could actually make something out of this with my filmmaking. And so I got, my brother, Seth, which is here right now, and we decided that we would try to make something out of this. We would just go and make short, creative videos that we made sure they were short because, people on YouTube, they they like short videos. So that's what we started out with. And we started trying to put little stories in these videos using visual effects to kind of enhance them, because I've never wanted visual effects to be the thing that, I guess, identifies us. I kind of wanted those to be an element to make them visually appealing. Because I think first and foremost, we wanted to make sure there was something creative, some kind of story within these videos to help drive them. Just, as like the filmmaker in us, I feel like that's what we have to do. The thing that we try to do is every single video, we try to improve ourselves. We try to just get better and better so that we can have this, this platform on YouTube to have a showcase of our work. And that's what we love. And, having immediate feedback on YouTube is amazing. Being able to just make a video and then release it to the public and get automatic feedback, which is sometimes not so amazing, but it's just really nice to be able to have that immediate feedback from everyone. So yeah, that's what we've been.
Yeah. Everything Andrew said, we pride ourselves in the quality that we put out. And I feel like that's kind of what our fans at this point expect, which is what we like. And so, yeah, we like to start with the story first, and then, like Andrew said, enhance it with VFX. So it's always, all of our stories, even though they're 3-4 minutes long, if you're watching them, you'll see that a pretty good story is told. Even though there may be a lot of explosions and lasers, if you look at the bones of it, it's a good story.
Yeah, sometimes in earlier videos, not so much, but that's what we've been trying to improve. And another thing that we try to do is our crew is mainly based of family. It's like, it's me, Seth and my brother, and,
That's pretty much
it. We work with my cousin Matthew did music and sound for us, and it's like, we just keep, we try to keep it very compact. We don't like to get like 100 crew members and try to do, basically what we try to do is we try to do a lot with very little. We don't want to be super unnecessary with going with budget and all that kind of stuff.
Simplicity is super underrated. I mean, we can take a very small budget, if we even need a budget, and make it look like a Hollywood trailer just by being creative. And then Andrew's skills in After Effects. I guess movie companies, it's appealing to them because they're like, oh, that's kind of how we want to show ourselves. Like, hey, we don't need a huge budget to make a 10-episode series or a feature film. And so that's kind of like how we're shopping ourselves around at this point.
Yeah, and I have this written down to talk about, and I think you're right. I think it does have to do with sticking with what you know is important, which I think a lot of Hollywood studios do not do anymore. They concentrate on the visual effects and the stars and stuff like that instead of the story, and it always should be story first. But yeah, and I think the reason why also is because just the visual effects are really just like kind of arresting, it just like makes you enter this world and totally believe that you're in this world, and just like the nostalgic imagination that I have as like a millennial for all these awesome things that like I've imagined in my head, like what if this was real, and then you guys bring it to life. I think that's like just the perfect formula.
Well, that's exactly how we start pretty much all of our videos is, what if?
Yeah.
Or what happened, like with the Mario Underworld, it was what happens when Mario falls down?
Yeah.
No one seems to care about like what's down there.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about making that video and like the post effects of the video is that when people play Mario after watching that video and they die, they kind of think about that. They're like, that one video where poor Mario,
Yeah, you've infiltrated their minds.
Yeah, I like that. And, one of my favorite things about that video is I really like world building. I love the fact that, Mario falls down. It's then up to us to figure out, okay, where does he go? What is this new world? I love that. I can make it as creepy as I want, just full creative freedom. I love creative freedom, just being able to do what I want, not restricted. So that one was really fun.
And I kind of wanted to go along with that because a lot of your videos are kind of dark, I guess. They all have kind of like a dark twist, like you said, what happens when you die in Super Mario Brothers, or like superhero depression, or all the messed up things that you guys do with Roller Coaster Tycoon. So
that's who we truly are as people.
So like, where did that darkness come from?
Yeah, well, the thing is with all the dark stuff, I don't really know. I mean, our videos aren't, they're not vulgar.
No, not at all.
But I guess
just twisted.
My humor naturally is dark.
So to an extent, it's just like we like the creepy vibe.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool feeling to give people, especially when you're taking a subject that is not creepy at all, and making it creepy. Super Mario is like the happiest-go-lucky nostalgic game, and you're taking it to a creepier place.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool to me when I don't know, I just think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that is. I mean, I like the contrast there. It's like, everything, when you think about Mario, you think about all the vibrant colors and the happy voices and all that kind of stuff. So I think that is one of my favorite things about the whole dark aspect, is that it's just something that you don't usually see. But as far as the other dark stuff, I mean, I don't know. I would just blame my sense of humor, and I'm a fan of, darker comedy and creepy films. I'm a huge horror movie buff. Like I normally people really wouldn't guess that. I guess a lot of our videos are kind of, action packed, vibrant kind of stuff. But I mean, if we were going to make a feature film, I would say I would want to do something like creepy and
Stranger Things.
Yeah, I love Stranger Things.
Nice.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that just goes back to like kind of knowing yourself and like knowing what you really love and then sticking to that and not trying to appease other people. You know what I mean? If you have this kind of dark sensibility or just like, oh, I want to see this kind of other end of it, which might be on the darker end, just going for it. Was there ever any kind of fears to put yourself out in that kind of way?
I wouldn't say I fear it. The thing is, I wouldn't like to release videos that kids couldn't watch, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our videos do have, blood in them. Some of them are dark, but it's, they're still, I guess, family friendly to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, what we're putting out is quality. It's just in a different genre. And what YouTube is, like Andrew said at the beginning, is a platform to show what we can do. And so if we can do multiple things and we can show we can do multiple things, whether it's horror or, video game stuff or, some comedy and things like that, that just ups our resume when studios are looking at us.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're not going to be fake on YouTube. We're not going to fake ourselves like making videos about things that we're not interested in, basically. I think that's just wrong. I want to be honest and show what we love and show what we love doing.
Yeah, people can see through that.
Yeah. That's important to me.
And our videos are, it takes us, 2 weeks-ish to put out a video. We don't want to work on something for 2 weeks that we're like, ugh.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think doing what you love and doing what, like, kind of, in your heart is what you feel about something is the formula for success, like in all aspects. Like you said, when you're working on it and when you're putting it out there, I think people, like you said, they can see through it when it's not. And kind of going along with that, we talked about this a little bit before we jumped on the interview, competition and having to do something that separates you from your competition. Can you talk about the competition that you've seen? Have there been a lot of kind of people trying to emulate what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, there's YouTube. There's just so many people that watch. I wouldn't even say it's competition. We have people that do stuff like us, but like Corridor Digital. Yeah. But we're friends with Corridor. We've collabed with Corridor.
The thing with Corridor, though, is that they inspired me when I was starting out. They inspired me. So, like, I got a lot of my inspiration from them. Starting on YouTube, I'd watch their videos and be like, man, that's cool. I would do things like that. So really, at the end of the day, it's a bunch of people helping each other out.
It's a very friendly environment. I mean, there's Rocket Jump, formerly Freddie W. We were in LA a couple weeks ago and they just invited us over to hang out.
Yeah.
And we had been watching them before we even started.
Yeah. So there is a competitive aspect on YouTube. Obviously, everyone wants their video to go viral. That's always going to be there.
It's healthy competition, though.
Yeah.
Because it just like, we're like, oh, we got to up our game.
But we don't, what they did? But we don't hate them,
No.
Like no one really hates each other on YouTube. From what I've seen, a lot of people just support each other. Corridor Digital, Rocket Jump, all of them, we'll comment on each other's videos and tell them we love their work and tell them congratulate them if they have a good video and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to be mean or anything like that. We make sure we stay supportive of people because, I mean, they're doing exactly what we're doing. They just want to make content like we are. That it's at the end of the day, we're all just trying to be these filmmakers that we want to be. So yeah, there is competition, but like Seth said, it's healthy competition.
And collabs, I mean, is growth for everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to be in good standings with these other people because, I mean, Corridor will invite us to be in their video and we'll invite them to be in our video. And that's just shared growth. And there's plenty of eyes to watch each other's videos.
Yeah. And if there are like smaller channels that do things that have, that take inspiration from our videos and I see that excites me actually. It doesn't make me mad. I try to support those people because when I was first starting out, I would love for people that I was inspired by to look at me and be like, that's really good. So I want to be that for those other people as well if I can. I don't want to, I don't want to burn the competition at all. Like I want people to be successful, because that's what I would have wanted when I was starting out.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to be that proof of concept for somebody and then kind of watch them, try it out themselves.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's exhilarating.
And I think for anybody listening, no matter what your kind of creative like endeavor is, whether it's painting or songwriting or creating videos on YouTube or podcasting, whatever it is, I think that like what you guys are talking about, so much can be gained from that. The idea of like abundance rather than scarcity. And you're right. It's not like, if somebody happens to watch your quote competitions videos, it's not like they can't watch your videos too. It's not like you're buying their eyes. So
we'll see in under corridors or rocket jumps videos, you'll see comments that are like, I can't wait for Corridor and Nukazooka to collab again and things like that, which is really cool.
It just adds to the kind of growth of, like you said, like working together, working on that kind of growth for both of you.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't like the fact, like, I don't like knowing or hearing that some people are scared to send me their videos, so I can watch them, because I love people sending me their videos and I love watching them. And I want to make sure it stays that way, because I feel like a lot of people figure, oh, they have millions of subscribers, they're not going to watch my video. And
it's fun to surprise them.
Honestly, that's completely untrue. And I don't know why that. I mean, yes, it's hard because there are a lot of videos that people send me, all that kind of stuff. I can't get to every single one of them, but I love it. It's fun to get those videos and to watch the videos that people make that were inspired by us and people like us. So that's another thing that I want to make sure we stay grounded. I don't want to look like, oh, those famous YouTubers that never respond to my comments, that type of stuff. I love responding to people. I want to make sure the community always stays there, basically, and we don't lose that.
Absolutely. And that kind of one-to-one communication that you can have, 350 million views, that's like a mind-numbing number that you can't even kind of comprehend. So whenever you can have those one-to-one interactions, I think that's what it's all about, and kind of the way to, like you said, stay level. But 350 million views, though, like, what is that like? Like, did you guys expect kind of that amount of growth and that amount of engagement?
Oh no! I mean, I think after we got like 50 million views, the numbers just kind of like.
Yeah, you don't even really look at them. Like you said, 350. I was like, oh wow, we have 350 million. I was like, what? we don't look at it. It's very. I mean, with what we do, we're concentrating on one video. We put it out, then we go to the next one. We have to, because if we stay and focus on, oh no, why is it not at 1 million yet? Why is it not 1 million yet? We won't be able to move on and move forward.
The thing is, I always make sure I at least sometimes take the time to look at that number and appreciate it, because sometimes I just overlook it, and that's that's normal. But sometimes it's hard to just appreciate that number and appreciate that that's a lot of views, and we worked really hard, and it's good to just go there and look at that number and be like, we did that. It's really nice. So it's a great feeling to just be able to see that number sometimes. Yeah,
it's definitely super humbling, but it's also like, all right, let's double this.
Yeah, we want to keep improving. Also, we don't want to just be like, that's great, let's settle.
Yeah, it's motivation, if anything.
Yeah, for sure. We talk about that a lot on the show. Is not like exactly like you said, not concentrating too much on the numbers of followers that you have, because that can. Just like refreshing stats on YouTube or, all day long looking at that, you won't get to the actual work. But whether you have 0 followers now and you couldn't imagine having 100 followers, or you have 100 followers and you can't imagine getting to 1,000 or 100,000 or 1 million, I think it's always important, like you said, to stop and take appreciation for the kind of connection that you do have with your fans and followers, the people that are interested in you. So just like, I don't know, every month being like, wow, I can't believe this point I'm at now, and just really appreciating it.
Yeah. Well, it's remembering, when we were making videos and being excited when we get 1,000 views and be like, wow, that's 1,000 views.
Which is a lot of people. It really is.
And it's like, now we're just like, we can't hit 600,000 views on this video. We're failures. And it's like, you got to sit down and think,
where do we start?
We, we'll think about those days when we were struggling to get 1,000 views and just appreciate it, what we have. I feel like we need to do that more because it can be hard. It can be hard when your expectations start rising and, you're expecting tons of views and sometimes you just don't get those views.
Well, especially for us, because we're not daily uploading and we put a lot of effort into, if we're lucky, we get out 2 videos on YouTube a month. And so that's a lot of work to see something not reach expectations. But then we have to, for me, what I do is I'm like, well, it's a quality video. I'm proud of it. And we just got to move on and, do the same thing and hope maybe that one will get more views.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing. Like I said, to kind of scrap the whole number thing and just to create something that you yourself, your audience of 1, or for you guys, audience of 2, are proud of and can say like, yeah, we did that. Like we put so much work into it and it's exactly kind of what we envisioned, and then see what happens with the numbers.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I feel like for a lot of new creators, that's one thing that I guess they'll make a video and it doesn't perform like they expected it to be, and they'll give up because they're like, I'm a failure. But, it takes time. It
got to be
time,
consistent.
And you got to, just keep uploading videos. And as long as you love them, you love the videos, they'll pick up. And the thing is, it was always important to us to make sure that we love the videos first and foremost. That we make videos that we would want to watch, that we would watch on YouTube and be like, I want to share that. I want to share that with my friends. That's important.
You won't stick with it. And people ask us all the time, how do you get a video to go viral, or how do you gain, all these subscribers? And there's obviously like no one way to do it, but for what Andrew and I have seen is consistent quality videos is what's going to gain growth.
Yeah, and
consistent quality, really in everything. It's not just in videos, but anything you do, consistent quality will eventually people will start to recognize and appreciate and share.
Yeah, and as long as you kind of stay familiar but add a twist on it. That in our case, take something that people know of and do something creative with it. Take the memories, like the retro vibe or the nostalgic stuff that people remember and play with that and do something creative and fun with it. Because everyone has seen Mario in real life multiple times on YouTube. Mario running around and hitting blocks. So, what we've been trying to do is just, okay, we want to do Mario in real life, but we have to add a twist on it. We have to do something creative with it.
You have to separate yourself from everybody else. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you guys nailed it too. That consistent quality is so important. And also kind of developing a tribe in that sense. Like people know that they're going to come to your channel and see a cool twist on something, and it's going to have like you said before, like a story behind it. It's not just going to be like running around and doing cool tricks. It's going to have like some kind of a short story to it. And I think that's like so important to keep showing up and doing that.
For sure.
How many ideas would you guys say that you like have like currently? Like, do you have like a kind of a treasure trove of ideas and you're just like deciding on which one to pick?
Yeah. Ideas are tough. They're tough, but we're trying to think of, these days we're trying to think of some bigger ideas. Some ideas that are kind of more than we've ever really thought of. Stuff that could be longer format. Because I think that's just the natural, like, evolution of us as filmmakers. We want to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we want our videos to evolve as well. So, we have normal video ideas, 2 or 3 video game in real life type stuff, but we also are trying to have a couple of ideas that are just, I guess, more cinematic and more like have more potential to turn into something longer format. because that's kind of where our eyes are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take we want to take another big step.
I can't wait for you to get there.
And me too.
We're looking, obviously we're going to continue with our same YouTube videos, and we're going to stay consistent with that. But yeah, like Andrew said, we're looking, at this point, there's some interest, and we're taking some meetings for longer format stuff. And so we're starting to try and think, that way as well. And also character development, things like that, to where we can go into a 10 episode series or something like that and be ready for it.
Yeah. Well, we've been learning along the way how all this stuff works, honestly. I mean, neither of us have been to school for this. I never went to film school or anything like that. So, every single upload, we try to learn something new and just keep getting better and better. And we'll keep doing that. We'll keep doing that. I mean, we'll keep doing that for the rest of our lives, So it's exciting in that aspect. I love it.
I love it too. So during like the day-to-day, as you're trying to pump out a video, you said it takes about 2 weeks. What is that process like? And do you have any things that kind of hold you back on kind of a day-to-day basis?
I think the hardest part of the video process is before you make the video. It's coming up with the idea.
Ironing out the idea.
Usually the process is I will write out a storyboard. I'll draw pictures on the storyboard just because most of our videos are very visual and I need to see rather than read. So I don't really write scripts. I draw shot by shot, and then we gather props. And I think that's the hardest part. Not props, but just pre-production is the hardest part, just because that's when we're coming up with the idea. And oh man, it's like so much can go wrong. It's like sometimes we'll just lose interest in the idea, and something will be like, is this actually good? Will people like this? Will people tear this apart? And then once we make it, and I get the footage and I do all the VFX and all that kind of stuff. That's the fun part for me.
Yeah,
filming and doing the VFX.
I mean, the process is we have an idea. We're like, all right, let's do this. We'll talk about it for a couple of days. Andrew will storyboard it, so he'll write it out pretty much shot for shot. He just needs that for the VFX that he's going to be putting in. It helps him, and just making sure that we get everything done on day of shoot. And then we'll spend a few days getting props. Sometimes we have to order online. That takes a couple of days. And then gather actors, shoot, and then it's in Andrew's hands for the next week to week and a half.
And then we get it all wrapped up. We have our baby, and we hand over to the YouTube audience, the Lions.
Yep, the Lions. That's a good name for them. And we try and come up with another idea while Andrew's doing VFX, just so we kind of have a head start. So that's kind of the process of everything.
That's cool. And so whenever it gets in your hands like that, Andrew, and you said that's the fun part for you, is there ever like, is it ever like, oh, I don't feel like editing today. I don't feel like doing all this.
Dude, like, not really.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love doing it. I love, putting those clips together and seeing it come together. I think one of the scariest parts is after filming, and I'm like, is this even going to be good? When we were filming Mario Underworld, after the shoot, I was like,
Andrew was so grumpy that shoot.
I was like, this video is going to suck.
Yeah, Andrew's like, we're not. I was like, so what do you think? He's like, I mean, it's like 50-50 that we're even putting this out
because on that shoot, it was just me, Seth, and his wife, and I was running the camera, and I was also playing Luigi. And I would have to give my camera to Seth's wife, who doesn't even do video work, so that she gets the shots. And at the end of the day, I was like, "This is terrible." Yep. So that's the scary part.
One of our biggest videos.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Like after we shoot, and I just have all these video clips, I'm just like, "Is this even going to be good?" And then I put them all together. I'm like, "Okay, it's actually not bad." Editing is very important. Editing can really make something great, and I love that. So. It's really exciting to me to be able to take all those video clips, just jumbled mess, and put them together into something narrative and fun. And then it's just, going shot by shot and adding visual effects. One of my things I try to do is I try to do like one visual effect at the beginning, and then I do the visual effect at the end. and then I'll do all the stuff in the middle, just so that, because usually the effects that I do at the beginning will be the best ones, because, I'm just starting out on them. And then I'll kind of start getting a little lazier in the process. On my 70th VFX shot, it'll be kind of lazy. So I want to make sure at least like the beginning effects and the end effects will be quality.
Andrew's lazy is still very, very good though.
I hate so many effects I've done. Oh man.
Well, I like that idea of bookending it then, to make it start out good and end good. So, kind of going along with what you said, have you looked back at earlier videos or other stuff, and you're just like, God, like, why did we put that out? Like, I'm sure your standards are much different than the public's, but have you had that experience?
I mean, I'm really hard on myself.
There's so many videos we want to hide on YouTube that we haven't.
I'll watch videos. I mean, usually what will happen, though, is when we're making a video, after I've spent an entire week doing VFX on a video, I won't even know if it's good anymore.
Yeah. Andrew will have to send me cuts like pretty consistently because he's like, I don't even know if this is good.
Yeah, because I've watched it so many times.
Yeah.
I've watched it so many times that I honestly just like, is this even good? So usually what will happen is I will, a month later, I will go back on YouTube and look at some previous uploads and be like, hey, that was actually pretty good because my mind's fresh. But of course, there are tons and tons of parts of videos that I'll go back and watch and be like, man, if only I had just masked that a little differently. If only I could just, that compositing is pretty bad. But no one really notices that. People will find the weirdest things to complain about on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. But the cool thing about it, though, is other people that are looking at it, and especially people that we want to see our stuff, which will be studios and stuff, they get to see progress.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, we've been this good forever. They're like, oh, these guys are getting better all the time. Mm-hmm. So they get to see that, and it's not like, oh, they've reached their peak. It's like they're getting watch the first video to the last video. It's
do not watch the first video.
Don't watch the first video.
Do not
watch the second video.
No, do not watch the second video. Literally, like watch like the 15th video, and then you can keep going.
And it's just our last video.
Yeah, just the last video.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially me. I just did a 1-year anniversary episode where I replayed clips from my very first episode. It was like the most the most awful experience for me to do because I'm just in 1 year, like the growth that you can have.
Oh yeah, awesome though.
But also, I think a lot of people can relate to what you were talking about, Andrew, like just being too close to something because you've been spending too much time on it. I have certainly experienced that with my writing and music videos that I've made. It's like you just have no idea if this is good or not. And I think a really important thing for when that happens, I don't know if you'd agree, is having somebody that you can trust to look at it, not like mom or dad or your wife who's going to be like, oh, it's great, honey, but like somebody who can actually look at it with a critical eye and tell you the truth.
Exactly. I mean, that's extremely important. And it's also tricky though. It's also tricky to send to someone and you're just like, are they pitying me? Are they honest? Sometimes, I mean, honestly, like, one thing I did when I used to kind of write scripts and stuff like that just to practice, and I would take these scripts that I write and I would send them to my friends and be like, hey, so my other friend wrote the script. What do you think about it? Because they would be completely honest yeah. And they would just tear it apart. I'd be like, okay, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I'll let them know.
Yeah. And I just go move that right over to the recycle bin. So, that's important. Criticism is really important to me. And, I love finding constructive criticism and seeing, that's something that we can improve. Obviously, with YouTube comments, you'll find a lot of non-constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Just people cursing us out for no reason. Well, I'm sure they have a reason, but there's obviously, there are opinions in there that are just like, hey, you guys could work on this. Your lighting is kind of weird in this shot, or your audio is kind of weird in this shot. And I love that about YouTube. I love that we can get those comments and be like, we could improve in that aspect. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to filter through the crap and find, what's actually good
It's easy to do that too.
There's a lot of crap on YouTube.
Honestly, this is, I'm not super proud of this, but I have like YouTube push notifications on my phone. So I see every YouTube comment that comes through.
Yeah,
every single one.
So your phone's just constantly vibrating?
Just constantly, I just see them. I see all of the people just like, I hate you.
There are some bad comments.
I was like, yeah. All right.
That's a terrible way to live, dude.
But every now and then, a comment will show up on my phone that will make my day. That's the thing, though.
We've gotten lucky in that most of our feedback is good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we get most of our audience likes what we put out. So it's not too bad. I mean, there are some people though, I'm sure, that just have to deal with it all the time.
Well, oh yeah. No, some people have it much worse than us. A lot of haters and all that kind of stuff.
Well, when you have so many people, so many eyeballs on your work, like that's guaranteed that you're going to get some haters. But like you said, I think it is important to, find the gems in there that are like constructive criticism that make you think, oh, okay, maybe I could improve in this way. But kind of ignoring the other haters that are just like, screw you.
Yeah, but honestly, it's kind of funny.
It is.
I mean, it just is. I don't know. I think it's funny to see people, I guess, hating on us for no reason.
We don't have consistent haters. Our videos, which is, I mean, super weird, but our videos reach outside of our audience. Our actual subscribers are only like 5% that watch our videos. So our videos, which is good because it reaches outside of our audience. So we have a lot of new people that come in that just leave a hateful comment and leave. But I feel like they probably do that on a lot of other videos.
You go to their profile, you'll see what's up.
Yeah, that's like their art form.
And I think a lot of the hate comments actually started when we started doing versus videos. And I understand that because we would take video game characters and make them battle, and usually one of them will win. And the people who like the other character are not happy. And and I understand that. I mean, the thing is with the versus videos is usually I like both of the characters. So I don't like making one of them win either. But man, when we made Mario win over Minecraft, man, there were a bunch
makes
of
it hugely successful though.
Oh yeah,
arguments are great.
Arguments are fantastic,
videos.
Right? Because you have friends sending it to other friends, saying, "Look at this," and screw you.
Yep. Yep.
But you also put a good twist on things too, like the Buzz Lightyear versus Darth Vader. Even though I don't want to say who wins, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But at the end of it, even the loser has like this kind of redeeming ending.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. At least we try to at least, we don't want to just completely obliterate one character and that's it, unless it's called for. But we want to at least kind of.
It'd be a boring video if one just was like dominating the other one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Buzz Lightyear versus Darth Vader. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win? Right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's one very strong. There's one very extremely strong evil lord versus a spaceman. But we try to we at least try to I guess make both of them have a good fight.
Right. Yeah, you treat your characters very lovingly, if that makes sense, and you give them each a fair shot. I like it. Guys, I just want to say thank you, not only for coming on the show, but just for doing what you're doing, forging kind of your own path, and just being a really big inspiration for everybody out there.
Well, thank you.
For sure. Thanks for having us on. It was awesome.
Well.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I'm going to ask you for what we call the final push. This is where I ask you to reach through the microphone and grab the shoulder of one of the listeners that you've already really inspired today, and just give them your best words of advice and push them to pursue their creative passions or kind of forge their own path.
Okay, so how do I do this? Do I just
reach through? Right, the mic's right there. Just reach through it.
Reach through it, man.
Hold up.
Super easy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I feel you. That's weird.
That's Bill.
Weird. Oh, sorry, Bill.
You got Bill.
Yeah, Bill's been working his shoulders.
I mean, just keep doing what you do and keep doing what you love to do. Don't just make videos to get popular. Don't just make videos to put tags in them to try to get 1 million views. Just do stuff that you love to do and that you would want to watch. And if it's not YouTube, this applies to everything, I would say in the end, it's way more rewarding to do stuff that inspires you
Yeah.
and that you love to do.
Yeah. Find what you love and put effort into it and be proud of what you put out. Your product is what everybody's going to see, and that's either going to make or break you. So
yeah, and don't get discouraged when you don't get 100,000 views on your first upload. It's
consistent quality.
Yeah. Eventually, people will notice if you keep improving and keep coming out with stuff that is good, that you love and that people love.
Couldn't agree more. You can find Nukazooka on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everywhere, right? At Nukazooka, which is Nukazooka. And we'll have links to everything we talked about today at yourcreativepush.com/Nukazooka. Guys, thanks again.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
My thank you to Andrew and Seth once again for coming on the show. I want to talk about that idea that they mentioned about world building, because I think it's so important that you build your own world and you don't need permission to go with that idea that kind of creeps into your head when you think, what would happen if, or what would it look like if, or what would it sound like if. I think you need to answer those ifs. And that is definitely something that I have struggled with a lot. And one of the reasons I stick with nonfiction writing, because when it comes to writing fiction, creating my own worlds, I suffer from that idea that I don't have the authority to build my own world from my imagination because I've never seen it before. So this is kind of advice that I'm really giving to myself as well here, because when it comes to creating things, creating worlds, you are the boss. This is your imagination we're talking about, nobody else's. You just came up with this thought, and if it makes you think for like more than 1 minute, I think as a rule, you should, at the very least, write that idea down. As nonsensical and as crazy as it might seem, just write it down and try to really flesh it out. And remember that it doesn't matter, because you are the universe builder and you're the one who gets to kind of explore that question, explore that world first, and hopefully, one day turn it into something that allows other people to explore that world as well. And I think sometimes we think, this is too far out there, or nobody else has this question. But if you have that question that you want answered, or that you want to kind of explore further, there are a lot of people in the world, and I guarantee you that someone else or many other people have posed that same question or began to think about that imaginary world, at least in their own heads. Like 100%, when I was a kid playing Mario Brothers, I thought of that idea, like what happens when you fall down a crack? Like, where does he go? Like, how exactly does he die? And I'm sure a lot of people have, and I think that's what's so appealing about Nukazooka's videos, is that they actually go and answer that question in their own way. So you can be that person to answer that question in your own way and then share it with the world if you want. And I think that's a really empowering notion. And I know we're talking about Mario Brothers now, but I think it's a kind of a litmus test for all questions that can be answered. So you get to answer them. It's your world, whether it's a movie, a story, a song, a play, whatever. It's yours. So it's so important to not think about those naysayers, those imaginary naysayers that are going to question your question, that are going to say, that's silly. Why would you even try to answer that? Don't even think about them, especially when you're doing your first draft of whatever it is. Create exactly what you want to create. Answer that question exactly how you want. And screw how other people might build a world to answer that question. This is your answer, so don't let anybody infiltrate it. But answer it. And that is all I've got for you today. So hopefully you were inspired to go and get your work done. So go and get it done. Create your world, your own world. Answer those questions. Don't be afraid. Just do it. And if you haven't checked out Nukazooka's videos, definitely go check them out. They're so much fun. And we'll have some of them that we mentioned today embedded in the show notes page at yourcreativepush.com/197. We will be here for you on Thursday if you need the push again. But until then, I love you all. Go get some amazing work done, and we'll see you then. Bye. Never miss a push. Head to yourcreativepush.com/subscribe to find the easiest way for you to subscribe to the podcast.